Guys, it fucking kills me to see people in the kitchen cook with seed oils as an automatism. They always go for the sunflower oil, for the grape seed oil, for the colza oil. I don't know if that's how you say it in English, but all those seed oils, because they're cheap, they're 50 cents a bottle, they'll just go for this one as if it causes no issue. Guys, by now, if you've been following my content on Instagram, if you don't know me, I'm a fucking chef. All right, I make a lot of food content on Instagram. Check out my Insta in the bio, in the description. I make a lot of recipes, but also I have a six-pack, right? I make sure that everything I cook is the healthiest possible and healthy towards your metabolism. I don't really care. I actually don't care at all about calories and all this gym bro bullshit. I'm fucking health maxer, a true testosterone maxer. And to get to this stage, you have to focus on what gets in your body, right? And as a chef, I've noticed, as I was working in 5-star hotels in Paris, that the thing that is called high gastronomy, right, the highest quality food in the world, is not healthy for your metabolism. It might be the best product, but it's very easy to use a great product and still get fat from it, right? It's not because you just picked the right product that all of a sudden you're healthy. There's a lot of things you need to implement in your life to change around so that your metabolism can have an easy fucking day. It's not only about you, guys. Your whole system has to rest. You know about this. Your organs also have to rest. And your metabolism is always going to be tired if you never allow your organs to have a fucking rest. And how do you do that? One of the things you can do is with the fat that you consume. Always make sure to eat the fats that will not be damaged when you fucking consume them. That will not be genetically fucking transformed by chemicals, right? And that will not be transformed by oxidation. They are not going to bring oxidative stress in your body. Otherwise, you're going to be sluggish, you will have brain fog, you'll have long-term inflammation, you won't know where it's coming from, you'll feel depressed. You don't know where it's coming from, you'll feel like shit, and you don't know where it's coming from. It's because all the macros that you're taking, not the macros, the micros, all the micros you're taking are just fucked. And you're cooking like an average motherfucker who just cares about taste. But guys, in the kitchen, you can make food tasty and healthy. And this video is dedicated to this. So, check this out. I'm going to tell you once and for all why you shouldn't fucking consume seed oils. I know that seed oils is fine, seed oils is bullshit, seed oils is fine. Many people tell you a whole bunch of different shit. Now take it from me, the chef with six-pack, French chef with six-pack, you shouldn't take fucking seed oils, all right? Now, let's get into it. I've made 3 categories, right? The seed oils, final discussion. It's the last thing you need to hear about seed oils. Then, olive oil and coconut oil. Avocado oil also works, but you know, I actually didn't even want to put coconut oil because I'm in France. And you don't fucking consume oils from the other side of the world, right? Same for avocado oil, makes no sense, so I didn't even fucking care to put it. But in my specific case, I'm going to talk mostly about olive oil, because you should eat what's around you in your fucking environment, not on the other side of the planet. And animal fats, right? It's very different fucking foods that will have completely different impacts on your metabolism. So, the seed oils. What is there to fucking know about seed oils? The last fucking thing you need to know. So, it's fine to eat seed oils if they're raw. Because once they're raw, they're not going to be damaged in terms of the omegas, they're not going to rancidify, and they're not going to lose all their fucking nutrition. Every time you're cooking with seed oils, what are you doing? What are most people doing? They're heating their pan, often too hot, because average people don't know how to preheat their pans. They just think, oh, it's the water thing, right? It's the water thing. Except they don't know when it gets too hot. They preheat it until some point, we'll see what happens. And then they put their little oil. Then you can see the oil starts to kind of split around. That's not good. When you put your oil on the pan, it should stay as one mass of oil. If you start seeing your oil kind of, I don't know how to explain this mechanism, but when your oil kind of looks like it's splitting around, right? As if it's getting aggressed by heat, that's what's happening. It's too hot, it's going to start splitting like this and smoke. So from this moment, you know, you've preheated your pan because you want to do things right. Very good fucking move you've been doing. Except now you put your oil and it's too fucking hot and you've degraded your oil by like 30% already by doing this mechanism. And seed oils, raw, are fine because they have a lot of nutrients. They have most of the vitamins and C that you would take from the cereals that they've been crushed from. I mean, from the seeds they've been crushed from. But because you've been cooking them, you're going to kill all this fucking benefits that you can take from the raw oil, right? Seed oils will always degrade with heat. So this is why you should, if you want to put them in a salad, that's fine, you know? But even then, it's not great for other reasons, which are that seed oils are often, always, grown with industrial amounts of chemicals. Haven't you fucking noticed that all the fields you see when you cross the country, they are fucking submerged with chemicals, right? Maybe you don't see the process, but you know, there's guys that put suits as if they're going to a fucking nuclear site, complete suits hiding their body, their face with a mask and stuff because you can't breathe this shit. And with those suits, they go around spraying with the chemicals that would kill you, right? And humans, you know, they're the only species that put those deadly chemicals to push all the animals off of the food and then eat the food themselves. That's crazy, right? But so one of the things that's bad with the oils, the seed oils from the seeds, is that there's a ton of chemicals on those seeds, especially glyphosate, which is the most used fertilizer. And if you're going to eat oil that comes from pressed fucking seeds like this, of course you're going to be consuming some remains of glyphosate. And that's going to give you cancer in the long run. It's going to crush your testosterone for sure. And this kind of shit. Also, once this oil is extracted industrially, right? I said industrial amounts of chemicals. And that's the first thing. And the second thing is industrial refining. When they're extracting this oil, there's like 2 to 3 steps of refining depending on how fucking disgusting their oil is. And in this refining, of course, you remove a lot of the benefits at each step of the refining, right? So very often, I don't know if you've seen, but when I was in my first private chef event with my clients, there was fucking acres and acres of dead sunflowers. What happens with sunflowers to get sunflower oils is that they let the flowers dry out completely once they grow, and then they let it dry out completely for like 1 month, a literal fucking month, maybe 2, without watering them. So that what happens, they dry out completely, and now the refining process will be easier because you don't have to crush them and then separate the water from the oil. You know, because you've let it to dehydrate completely naturally. Now you only have oil and there's like maybe 95% or 99% less water, except what happened in this 1 month without water? What do you think fucking happened? The plant fucking died. All the benefits that would be in the sunflower died, and all the benefits that were in the seed have been damaged, right? There's still maybe some life in the seed because of course that's what seeds are for. They're for growing later. But they haven't been fed and haven't had an income of nutrients from the water for the past month or 2, which is crazy. So they're letting the product die out in nature to make the refining easier. By this process, the fucking product degrades, and then they're going to crush it, extract it, refine it, extract it again, and this way they're going to have a product in the bottle that looks like it's fine, it's nicely yellow, and you don't fucking understand that this has been going through a pretty fucking crazy process of transformation, and you're not, in no way in nature would you ever be able to consume this product after so much processing. It makes no sense. You would never consume so much oils from seed in nature. Even cows would never eat so much fucking seeds. If they were just left in nature, they would eat grass. But nowadays we feed cows grains. Anyway, there's a huge amount of chemicals and a huge amount of refining, which removes a lot of the nutrients from the fucking seeds. Maybe 50% of the nutrition is removed, and you have dead seeds essentially. I mean, rancidified seeds, right? Anyway, the next step is very important. No hormonal benefits in those fucking seed oils. You know that cholesterol helps you produce testosterone. It's part of the things that start the building up of testosterone in your balls. Cholesterol. If you don't have cholesterol, you're not going to produce testosterone. Now, there's been all this bullshit that cholesterol is so bad. It's been debunked look it up. I don't have time in this video, but you need cholesterol, especially in the evening, if you want to wake up with high testosterone. Because testosterone is going to be produced during the night most efficiently and will be highest when you wake up in the morning. That's why it's important to have a lot in the evening. Now, of course, you need to know what you're doing, otherwise you'll have high sugar plus high cholesterol, and then you'll clog your arteries, which is not what you want. But once your metabolism is working properly, then cholesterol is a fucking saver, right? So if you consume seed oils instead of animal fats, you're consuming this oil, which is essentially just pure energy, pure fats which have been rancidified and which you will also damage while cooking. So there's really fucking nothing good in this oil at the end if you cook it, right? It's just something that's going to make you fat, that's going to get in your system, and because it's oxidated and it's been damaged through all this processing, it's going to cause inflammation in your system, oxidation, and make you feel sluggish, as I said earlier, give you brain fog, make you feel like shit in the long run. It's going to come from that. And also high omega-6, right? Because cereals have high omega-6, which if you consume too much omega-6, you should have a balance of 2 omega-6 for 1 omega-3, all right? If you consume seed oils, you can find yourself with a ratio of 20 omega-6 to 1 omega-3, which in this case, you have extremely high chances of heart attacks, right? You don't want to have high omega-6. And how do you get rid of this? You don't eat the fucking seed oil, right? So seed oils will give you the high omega-6 and they don't have cholesterol to help you build hormones. So seed oils would be fine in the case of eating raw in a salad. But apart from that, you should always get away from fucking seed oils, right? I know sesame oil tastes good. Yeah, cool. Put it in a salad. But don't cook with fucking seed oils. It's super toxic for you in the long run, right? Next step, olive oil and coconut oil. So as I said earlier, I didn't even want to put coconut oil because I'm in fucking France. Well, you shouldn't even strive to look for products from the other side of the world. Now, olive oil is good because the process of extracting, I'm talking especially extra virgin olive oil, it's important to mention extra virgin, which means the process is literally just the olives crushed. There's no bullshit happening. It's olives crushed. And the extra, so there's virgin olive oil and extra virgin olive oil, which the extra virgin is the one with the least linic, I don't know how you pronounce it, but the least acids, and it's the one that's going to have the most polyphenols and antioxidants, which is why it's healthy, but it's still vegan fat. And vegan fats have the same as above. Very often, in case of avocado oil, coconut oil, and even some olive oil, you'll have high industrial amount of chemicals, not in the extra virgin olive oil, and industrial refining, which when extracting olive oil in industrial quantities, you will keep a lot of the acidity in the fucking oil, which is toxic, which is, the thing is this acidity in the seed oils it's linoleic acids, right? So the linoleic acids in those seed oils is, it could be from 40% to 60% of fucking acid, which is a lot, and it's going to cause a lot of oxidation. In olive oil and coconut oil, it's around 10 to 20%, so it's much less, which is going to make it a healthier product. But still, it can have gone through a whole lot of fucking processing. Depending on the brand and quality you take, they might have gone through a huge industrial refining and a lot of chemicals. So you need to be very careful about the quality that you take. And as above the seed oils, it's still vegan fat, so they don't have cholesterol. They don't have anything that's going to help you build hormones, right? They do have antioxidants that will lower inflammation to some extent, which might help produce healthier levels of hormones, but they don't have anything that's going to actively help you produce more, right? Like cholesterol, which is something that would help. Now, those fats have less omega-6 than the seed oils, which makes it a better option than the seed oils. But don't get fooled, because olive oil and coconut oil and everything still get damaged by heat. Everyone tells you they're stable with heat, they're stable. The omegas, and they don't get rancid in heat as fast as the other ones. That's what it is. But there is still a lot of compounds that degrades from heat. You can see it with olive oil. You take a high quality olive oil, you heat it up a little to 130 degrees. So when you sear a steak on the pan is at around 180 degrees Celsius. to 200 degrees Celsius. And at this temperature, people tell you, oh, it's stable, it's not going to degrade at 180 to 200 degrees Celsius. The thing is, you can see it change color from 130 degrees Celsius because there is still a lot of degradation happening in the product at lower temperatures. Olives from nature come at room temperature. What happens if I take you and I put you at 150 degrees Celsius? Nothing degrades. That's not what fucking happens. If I take all your fat, I cook it up to 150 degrees, of course your fat will be changed molecularly, all right? It might not be damaged, but it's going to be changed, right? And that's what happens here. Even if it's more stable than the seed oils and they're not going to get rancid as much, they do change a lot from heat. So you should always, if you want to eat olive oil and coconut oil, you should always aim to eat those fucking raw. I think fats should be consumed raw. Raw fats are super healthy. That's my point here. And cooked fats are very unhealthy. Now, next, animal fats. The difference between all this shit and animal fats is that animal fats are much more stable in heat. Did you know that at the same temperature of 100, now let's say 200 degrees Celsius, at 200 degrees Celsius, it takes, I think, 7 hours for seed oils to be rancidified, so fucking destroyed and completely change color and become brown and then be fucked, right? For animal fats, it takes 40 hours at the same temperature. It takes like 5 times, it's 5 times, yeah? Yeah. 5 times more time at the fucking super high temperature of 200 degrees Celsius to degrade animal fats as much as seed oils. So animal fats are much more stable. Now, of course, as I said earlier, some compounds will still degrade with heat. Did you know, I actually learned this not long ago, that even cholesterol gets damaged with heat. So if you put animal fats in your pan to sear your steak, you're taking animal fats because you want this cholesterol, it's good. Except if you're searing your steak, your pan is probably at 180, 200 degrees Celsius. And cholesterol from 145 degrees Celsius starts degrading. So at 180, your cholesterol is fucked, right? So if you want to consume fats, animal fats, to get high cholesterol from them, you should eat those raw, again, which is why you would want to eat butter, raw butter, and some people, you know, they put a knob of butter on their steak once it's finished. That's good because you're eating the uncooked butter. But if you're going to cook in animal fat, you are still going to fucking toast your cholesterol, kill the cholesterol, which is not what you want to do for fucking hormones production, right? I cook, if you see on my Instagram often, in butter. I tell you it's possible to cook a steak in butter, which it is because butter will not be burnt before 150 degrees Celsius, right? You burn at 155 degrees Celsius. So it's very possible to cook your steak in butter around 130, 140 degrees Celsius, which is before the temperature that cholesterol starts degrading. So it's super nice. It's basically when you're doing this, cooking with butter without burning the butter, it's very important that you don't burn the butter. You're basically cooking in ghee. You're cooking in ghee, but ghee that's toasted with the brown butter, which gives it the nutty flavor, right? So it's a skill to learn. It's not easy to cook with butter, but if you stay on medium heat, it's very easy to do so. You might not get a huge sear from staying at lower temperatures, but the butter will be brown, so you'll have the flavor of the brown butter, and you will not have burnt your steak, right? So that's one of the reasons I think butter is a great way of cooking, because by definition, if you're using butter, you can't burn it, otherwise you've burnt it. And around the same temperature that you're going to burn it, you kill the cholesterol. So if you haven't burnt your butter, you haven't degraded your cholesterol, you see? So I think that's a great way to tell yourself that you haven't burnt it, is by using butter. Now, of course, people want to have crazy sears on their steaks and stuff like this. Cool, cool, very cool. You have to know that every time you're doing this, you have killed the cholesterol in the fat on the pan, right? And of course, there's still fat on your steak. You haven't killed all the fat. There's still fat on your steak, but by burning off this fucking fat, destroying this fat, it's still fat that you're going to consume that is damaged. And this fat that is damaged will cause oxidative stress, will make you feel sluggish in the long run, will fuck up your health, will give you issues. It might give you cancer in the long run if you eat it too often. Now, if you ask me, I think you should always be cooking with animal fats. In my fridge, I have beef tallow, duck fat, butter. That's the only things I use, beef tallow, duck fat, butter. And I always try to cook with butter on low heat. If you want to do with butter, what you can do is you preheat your pan to medium heat, you throw in your butter, and once your butter is bubbling, that's the time to put in your steak. I mean, when the butter is bubbling, you see the white molecules, blah, blah, blah. Once all the white molecules are gone, it's starting to be golden. Now you put your steak. And when you put your steak, you stay on medium heat. You don't go to high heat. You stay on medium heat so that you don't go above 150 degrees Celsius. That's the key part. You don't need to be on high heat ever. Once your pan is preheated, you can stay on medium heat. It's fucking fine. So it might take a longer time to sear your steak with butter. So if you are going to do that, you might want to take your steak straight out of the fridge directly onto the pan, right? Because since it's going to take longer to sear, if you let your meat rest outside of the fridge to let the temperature go up a little, then the time it takes to sear the side, you're probably going to overcook your meat, you see? So straight out of the fridge onto the pan, boom. And like this, you can get a sear with butter, not overcook it and not damage the fats, right? I mean, damage them as little as possible. Doing it like this, the fats will be damaged by probably something like 10%. Instead of if you were cooking with seed oils at high temperatures of 180, 200 degrees Celsius, they would be fucked by 40 to 50 to 60%. All the nutrition you would get is destroyed by all this amount, which if the nutrition is destroyed, you end up consuming fat that is damaged, that will only cause issues in your bodies, right? Then very important, you should always aim to take grass-fed, right? Not grain-fed, because if you take grain-fed, as I told you earlier, when eating grains, your omegas will be fucking much higher than your omega-3, omega-6 higher than 3. You should have a ratio of 2 omega-6 for 1 omega-3. If you eat grain-fed meat, you might end up in yourself with a ratio of 20 fucking omega-6 to 1 omega-3, in which case you have high risks of fucking heart attacks. Don't do that. You want to eat grass-fed, which is the healthiest. It's going to have the best omega ratios and also the best vitamins, the best minerals. Everything's going to be better from a meat that's grass-fed rather than fucking grains. Grains are not for fucking animals, guys. Grains ought to be planted and grow trees. I mean, anyway, you understand what I mean? If you want more knowledge like this, I invite you to look at my school course in the description, in which I have about 20 to 30 hours of content that talk about health maxing like this. I have 4 main modules. Mindset, because everything starts in your mind. If you don't know why you're acting, you're not doing anything. The nutrition, this kind of shit, very important. But also a cooking module, which this is kind of a cooking lesson as well. I'm telling you how to use your fats, you see? If you don't know about this, you're going to go in the kitchen and fuck up your fats. I don't want this. I want you to learn how to cook in a way that's going to help your fats be the healthiest, right? And not the fats, just anything you cook should be the healthiest it can be, right? So, nutrition, cooking, and a body course where I teach you about my way of doing fitness that has helped me get a six-pack as a French chef, which I've kept for the past fucking 5 years, right? I haven't lost it ever, and I always keep improving my physique, although I eat very tasty things. You can see on my Instagram, all the things I cook are not the things you would think are healthiest. There's a lot of chocolate, a whole lot of fucking dessert, but I cook it the best way possible for my metabolism. And also I adapt my lifestyle to it, because it's not only cooking, it's also the way you approach food and your regime towards food, right? My one-to-one program is called the human regime, which is because a political regime, you see, is a new way of approaching the politics of a country, right? There's new laws, new rules, new establishments, new organizations. That's what a regime is in politics. I want you to implement a new regime of life in your daily life, right? Which means you implement new rules about your own life, new fucking ways of doing things. You're changing up everything. That's what I'm trying to do here. So, if you want more knowledge, join my school community. And otherwise, if you want more of a personalized approach between me and you, where we have calls weekly, you can book a call in the description to join my one-to-one program. Otherwise, DM me on Instagram, you know, ask questions. And thanks for watching this video. Press follow on the YouTube, right? And press like always. Or you can put the comments, tell me what fucking fats you use most of the time and where they come from. High quality, is it fucking grain-fed, grass-fed? Tell me. I want to see if you're a soy boy watching my video or if you're actually a Chad. Okay, press follow on the YouTube. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.